Evening intuitives, how is everybody's day going? How'd you like my last video? Why it recorded on that angle, I don't know, because the iPad's always facing the same way, the plug's over here, so I don't know. I'm gonna blame either Apple or YouTube for that one. So back again with another narcissism video, if that's what you prefer, as opposed to INFJ videos. I know it ain't witchcraft videos why you come to this channel. Most of you are nice enough to tolerate them, though, which I very much appreciate, because it's a big part of who I am, and most people don't understand stuff about it. And I like to clear our name. So if you're new, welcome to the channel. If you're not, thanks for sticking around. Please like and subscribe to help this channel with the algorithm. And if you're so inclined, if a certain video gave you significant help and you feel like, wow, I really needed this, this was a big help, hit the super thanks button and send me a holiday tip, because it's greatly appreciated. I like tips. Tips are cool. You tip your bartender, you tip your trash man, you tip your barber. Why not me? So, what I want to get into today is how narcissists fake empathy. And I kind of teased this one in my last narcissism video, because my last narcissism video was about covert narcissism. I talked about how covert narcs in particular are pretty good at faking empathy and fooling people, at least for a little while, unlike overt narcissists and especially borderlines. For example, a borderline, if you're down and upset and you're going to them looking for empathy, they'll turn the conversation back on them. They have to be the center of attention at all times. It all has to be about them. The overt narcissist will one-up you. They'll be like, well, if you think that's bad, I've been through this, and that's way worse, because the overt narcissist, anything you've done, I've done it bigger, better, badder. That's the overt narcissist. But the covert narcissist, one of the many reasons why they're the hardest to detect, watch that last video if you haven't, because it'll definitely help with this video. So, how a narcissist fakes empathy, and like I said, this is heavily focused on covert narcissists. It's no secret that narcissists have little emotional empathy. That means basically they don't feel for others. Narcissism, they only care about themselves, what they want, and getting what they want by any means necessary. So, yes, put it bluntly, a narcissist does not feel your pain like an empath does. And even someone who's not an empath or a narcissist, they can genuinely feel bad for you and be like, wow, that really sucks. You shouldn't have to be going through that. Whereas the empath will sit there and cry with you, as I have many times with many people, and then went out and hurt somebody sometimes. So, the narcissist, though, your pain is nothing but an annoyance to them, because it's taking the attention off them, and they want to talk about them. They want you to give them attention. They have to be in a spotlight. But for most of them, borderlines excluded, because they don't even get this much usually, that when you're genuinely upset, the narcissist knows enough, like, uh-oh, like I'm supposed to show how I care, even though I don't give a damn, because this isn't about me. So, particularly covert narcissists, over time become pretty good at faking emotional empathy. They do this to fit in. They do this for social norms, because as I mentioned in my previous video on covert narcissists, they have self-esteem and security issues. Covert narcissists are very much into fitting in, being part of a group, particularly being like the leader of the group, but fitting in a group. They want to belong. Covert narcissists, when they were younger, were the types of people that were outcasts. Now, I was an outcast too, but they're the types of outcasts that wanted so bad to be in the in crowd. Like that was, like, oh, if I could just be in the popular clique, as opposed to those of us that are true outcasts that are like, when's this over? This ain't the real world. Is it over yet? This sucks. Like, I don't just put my head down and get through it. And basically, your life began the second you walked out of that high school building at the end of the day, and then you could be your true self. But the covert narcissist, they want to fit in. They want people to look at them as one of the normies. The overt narcissist, I'm better than everybody. Yeah. And the borderline, me, 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 me. Why aren't you giving me more attention? Why aren't you doing what I tell you to do? My wants should be what everybody bows to my every whim, because it's me. And if they don't get that, then you get histrionics. Yeah. Temper gaslighting, or threats of suicide. So covert narcissists in particular sometimes fool people into believing that they do have some degree of empathy. You know, they want to seem like good people, like, oh, look how, they want to look like the person's like, wow, he really cares, like he would do anything for her. No, I'm gonna fake this, make her think I give a shit, you know play along for as long as I can tolerate it, and then the second I want all these other people around me to see to make I want all these other people around me to look at me like I'm some good guy, like I'm this good boyfriend. And then when we get home, she'll be vulnerable. Everybody will be praising me, and then I can get what I want and probably get her to do things she doesn't want to do. But hey, she owes me now. Quid pro quo. Narcissists love quid pro quo. So, they use this pseudo empathy as the example that I just gave as a form of manipulation. And there's plenty of incentives for a narcissist to do that. Narcissists love emotional blackmail. And this fake empathy allows them to get fake blackmail. And pay attention if you dealt with this, because they'll most likely use this fake empathy when other people can see it, because that's what they want. They want other people to look how great they are. The covert narcissist, if someone was upset crying on the couch when, coming home, just the two of you, be like, oh, what's wrong with you? Get over it. They're not going to be the guy that, sits there for hours holding the crying girl, and then, carries her up and draws her a bath and gives her a massage just to see if you could do something to get her to relax, to be able to sleep. They're not going to do that. So, although the narcissist doesn't have much emotional empathy at all, they can possess what's often referred to as cognitive empathy, which basically means they know how to fake it. They know how they're supposed to look. They know how they're supposed to act, what empathy looks like, but it's all fake. They're playing a character. Narcissists, a lot of times, are good at playing a character. There's a correlation between actors and narcissism. There's a reason why some of the best actors are narcissistic as shit, because they exude false personas their whole lives. Or they have special, operating Thetan powers like Tom Cruise, or so I've heard. I know some ex-Scientologists. John Atack and Mike Rinder both have told me that he is one of the worst human beings on the planet. Although, to be fair, they did say John Travolta's genuinely a nice guy. And they do feel bad for him being in that cult. So the narcissist, if you experience a loss, be it a relationship, a death, a job, they don't feel for you. They don't actually feel that. They just know what to say, how to say it, so they can play the role and to then get you to do what they want to do. Narcissists often, as I've said before, target highly empathetic people, because narcissists love to weaponize empaths. Empathetic people are usually easier to control because they are guilted into conformity and being people pleasers. Once again, pay attention, ENFJs. Like, I did a video on why narcissists, you're the number one target, because you're sweet, you're empathetic, you're people pleasing, you struggle to say no. And a lot of you are hot too. ENFJs are just the greatest, but ENFJs need somebody, especially when they're younger, needs someone with a temper to stand up for them, because they won't, and they'll cry and hope for the best, and that doesn't always stop the abuser. Sometimes it turns them on. They need a close friend, or be in a relationship with somebody who, if they see them getting abused, will straight up lose their shit. I was that friend for many ENFJs in my younger days. So another reason narcissists love people like this, the ones that are faking empathy, because they study them. They study these people who are genuine empaths, like ENFJs, who are very emotional. And the narcissist will try to mirror those traits when the social situation calls for it. As I said, they're very good actors. They hone their acting skills and know how to look and when to look like that. Understand with pseudo empathy. They don't feel for you, no matter how real they make their performance be. They have no genuine empathy for what you are going through. It's all about manipulation for them to look good in front of other people, and for them to then use that as emotional blackmail against you later. To a narcissist or a borderline, cluster B in general, they only care about themselves and what they want. Other people's emotions are a total annoyance and irrelevant to them, because a lot of times it stands in the way of them getting what they want, and that's all they care about. If you're upset around a narcissist, you'll never get empathy. In fact, it'll make the situation worse, because the narcissist, like with any situation, is thinking, how can I use this situation uh, to my favor? How can I use this for further manipulation? That's what's going through their head. That's why it might not be a good idea to confide how you were abused to a narcissist. Like, a if there's a narcissistic guy dating a girl, and the narcissistic girl admits that she was raped, that narcissist is so sick that he'll be like, you know, she's damaged. I can work with that. He's not going to be the guy that, holds her crying for 10 minutes and then slams his fist on the table, swearing vengeance. No, he's going to use that situation, like any other situation, to his advantage to further control that person. You know, a narcissist not only doesn't have empathy for anybody other than themselves, they don't get angry over the mistreatment of others either, because it has nothing to do with them. So be aware when you're dealing with a covert narcissist, or if you think you're dealing with a covert narcissist and you're like, oh, this can't be a narc. This person, has empathy. And covert narcs may even, and I've seen this myself, may even try to portray themselves as empaths to try to, get people to think how great they are. And it's like, oh, they carry the weight of the world on everybody's shoulders. And that's why they say it too, because they want people to think that they care and hurt so deeply for others. But if you look at their performance, it's always the same. You never, they talk about how upset they are when other people get hurt and abused and mistreated. But have you ever seen them cry? Have you ever seen them get angry? Because yes, anger can be an appropriate response to learning somebody was abused. Somebody you care about, if you find out they were abused, an appropriate response, or at least a response that shows genuine feelings for that person, would be anger, because, someone hurt you, that's not right, now I'm going to go hurt them. But the covert narcs, they just like to talk about how wrong it is. Pay attention. It's all an act. The crying without tears, the melodramatic stuff. They want to be seen as the person who cares so much. But deep down, it's all an act. And if you pay attention, you can see right through it. You can see right through it, because look how different they act when even the slightest inconvenience happens to them. Like, oh, I was stuck in traffic for 10 minutes. They'll expect to be treated like somebody died. See how they act with somebody else when somebody actually dies, if they care at all, and that'll depend if they're in their little narcissistic clique that they love so much. So be aware, narcissists have no empathy, but covert narcissists a lot of times are very skilled at faking it. Look around the other people. If the narcissist has an enabler who's a genuine empath, like an ENFJ, look to see if that narcissist is mirroring that ENFJ's empathy when the time is right to do so. A lot of times they are. They hone those skills over time. They don't have empathy of their own, so they try to play the part of somebody else. But that's not their response. That's the actual empath's response, because nobody's empathetic response is exactly the same. Get it? So trust your intuition. If you think someone's faking empathy, look for the signs. Are they really crying? How do they act when they're upset about something that happened to them? Are they ever upset when something happens to somebody they know that's not in their inner circle? That'll give you the real truth if they have empathy, or if they're just trying to look good. And remember, there's no integrity at faking empathy.